Craig Cameron, delighted to be joined by one of the best trainers in Scotland, Craig Dickson. Craig, how are you getting on okay?
Well, you made me blush, thanks very much for that.
So Craig, I've seen some of your posts from today. You are officially in the Matchroom bubble ahead of Cash's fight on Saturday night. So is it Wembley, the hotel is?
Yes, it's just the Hilton, just round for Wembley. And as glamorous as it sounds, we're all stuck in our own individual room. There's no frequent between rooms. We're just stuck here. So the chap at the door on the left, my dinner's sitting there in one of the tinfoil dishes. Just
right.
Everyone is. I think what they've done is they've cordoned off the floor for the boxing. So the boxers have got a room, all the guys. And then tomorrow we should get a chap in the door to tell us wherever, negative or etc.
In the bad news. Did you get the Eddie Hearn book? I've seen a couple of people have been given that ahead of they were all meant to be getting one in your room.
Maybe put that on the wish list for Christmas.
Aye. Get me sign it while you're down there. So how did you get down? Did you fly down or drive down or?
No, Mr. Fruit wasn't too keen on flying, so we volunteered for the train. Right. To be honest, there's no way we could have flied with the amount of stuff he took anyway. I'm sure they'd been very interesting had we got to the airport and they were scanning his luggage to see why is there a microwave in there. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's got a plate, knife, fork, all sorts of stuff. So I think we dodged that. So we get the train down and we got here about we got into Euston about 10:30. Just got an Uber round to here about 11. That was fine. So
you working the railway? So was it free tickets? First class?
Unfortunately, not this time round, but I wish it was. To be honest, there was not a soul in the coach was. That was empty. It was easy, nice and relaxing. A bit less stressful than the airport and charging about and going through all the check-ins and stuff. So it was good. Just come out of Euston and get a taxi over to Wembley, and that was us. And they were all very well organised. As soon as we got in, we had a time at 12:10 to get the test, but they took us right away, gave us a test, and then that was it. Up to our room. So
up to your room. And tomorrow morning you get a wee chap at the door with the results, is it? Or
basically is, aye. But the other thing is nobody's told us what happens if we fail. So if we get time to get our stuff and be whisked away, how do I get us home? I've no idea. So fingers crossed it comes back negative.
Yeah, well, you'll need to give Cash a hand with that microwave. I don't know how you get that up the road yourself.
I told him we're leaving it. I don't care. I'll buy a new one when we go home. He's leaving it. Definitely.
Aye. Brilliant. So did you see any other fighters, or was it just you and Cash had a slot to come in and then that was it?
I just seen Dave Allen wonder about. I think he's in his slippers or something. He was kicking about and
his dressing gown
and stuff. Aye, but I never really seen anybody else. No, that was it. Just tested and straight up to the room. So
yeah. All right. And Craig, so for the rest of the week, what's going to be the plans for you and Cash, like in terms of topping up and training? You hear famous stuff about they've got cricket pitches and stuff at the back. But from your perspective, what's the plans going to be until fight night?
Yeah. Well, I've no idea what else what other facilities they've got, but they've been giving us we've got slots. I can probably read them out. I can't remember exactly. So tomorrow, Cash he's got a media appointment at 20 to 12. He's to bring his fight kit, so I'm assuming he's to bring it'll be photographs and stuff. And then we're in the boxing gym at 2:00. Before we came, they asked us what times you want. I says the boxing gym any time between 1 and 5, and the fitness gym any time between 6 and 10. So they gave us a boxing gym at 2, and then Cash has got some more media interviews at 4, and then we've got the normal gym at 9 o'clock tomorrow, and in between that meal. So that's pretty much. I think that's tomorrow, and then Wednesday. What is Wednesday again? Thursday. Sorry, Thursday's. Thursdays there's a press conference, not been confirmed yet at the time. We've got the boxing gym, the cardio gym again, just to keep ticking over. Yeah. And then obviously Friday's away in, and the rest is fight, hopefully, and that's it.
You might need to get used to this process then, with Cash being a Matchroom fighter now for the foreseeable.
We'll kind of look past this fight, but obviously with the COVID situation, we don't know what's going to happen, but
yeah, everybody's
praying it kind of eases off and it's not as bad as it is, but likelihood is I'll be doing this again, maybe the end of the year, possibly, if everything goes well, or early next year.
Right, yeah. So, Craig, I don't know if you could tell us more, because I know that the card that Cash was originally meant to be on back in April, that got pulled because of COVID, and then he was meant to be on the Peterborough card, and then that he get pulled off of that card and put onto this one. Could you tell us more about maybe what's been happening in the background in terms of, I think there's been a late change of opponent as well. Was it Martin Tekapetla? That's a tongue wrangler.
I'll let you pronounce it.
I don't think I pronounced it well.
I think behind the scenes an awful lot going. So he was meant to be on the cards a few weeks ago. What was that one again? The Dickson show. So Cash had trained, was ready, and then the week before it, you couldn't get an opponent. We just struggled. Obviously, the COVID situation and the medicals and bringing people in out of Britain, it's just a bit more difficult. So he says, "Oh no, like, listen, don't worry, we'll get you on the USIC Chisora bill. That's a pay-per-view, a bigger bill, bigger platform." So we're like, yes. And then I reckon Cash had about, between Ian and Matchroom, I think there'd been about 4 or 5 opponents. They had a guy called Estrada from, I think it was Venezuela, I think it was. And they were going to do it for WBC, some sort of WBC's silver title or something. I think it was 22, with 20 wins, 22 fights. And something came up in his medical, so it was a last minute dash. And fortunately, from my point of view, we've got somebody. That's the main thing. See, when it's probably not the opponent. If you're going to a lot of the forums, people will probably be disappointed. And you know what? I don't care. It's just good to be part of the whole thing, of boxing, get a fight again. And Cash has got an opponent and he's here. That's the main thing. And the only bridge we need to cross now is this COVID test. As long as we pass that, he's fighting Saturday. So unfortunately, it's maybe not the opponent people like to see, but unfortunately, there's no many fighters getting a fight, so we need to take what's there.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed. And yeah, it's good just to get that awareness, Craig, I suppose. People may be disappointed or not disappointed with the opponent. I think they'll just be glad to see Cash out. There's a lot of people been waiting to see him, but it's through no fault of your own, it sounds. There's been issues with other people's medicals and it was meant to be for a belt, etc. So it'll be great just to see him back in there. So in terms of training, Craig, how with the COVID situation, how long were you not training together? And I suppose, when did you start training again together? I
think probably around March, April, everything kind of closed down. And I said to Cash, listen, just stop it now. There's nothing happening. And I think we stayed at the gym for about 8 weeks. Unfortunately, I've got a key to the gym. So once, kind of in the May, June, and we started getting sight of things, starting to maybe ease up, we just went back, we just started doing a wee bit of work in the gym. And to be honest, we've been there ever since. So, Cash doesn't really take a time off anyway. So it was a good opportunity for him. Just a few injuries and a few things with his skin and that to heal up. And he just ran through that period. So he kept his weight down. So for me, it was just picking up the boxing again and getting himself back into the weight. So probably about May, June, we were back, firing all cylinders. And a few of the Scottish boys were getting dates down south fighting. And, what do you call them? It'll come back to me, sorry. Monty Ogilvie, sorry. Yeah. And a few of the guys were fighting, so we get some sparring. And then Thomas Patrick Ward was obviously fighting on the Dickson show. And we were down there, I think we went 4 or 5 times. We went down to Hartlepool. So we'd cracked really good sparring with him. And that was it. So we just the situation, but we made do with the best we could. Yeah.
I think we something that's clear is how professional Cash is, and that must make your job a hell of a lot easier. There's no concerns from your perspective. He's going to put the work in, even in those, even in that situation.
I think he understands, boxing's a short window. If you don't give it your all, you don't want to wake up one morning when you're 30 odd and go, I wish I'd done this and done that. You want to get to that stage, like Gary Jacobs, Gary Walsh, I gave it a go no matter what anybody says about his career, and that's the best thing. It is very, very short. And, I'm sitting here 41, I'm like, wow, that's way behind me. I've had a whole different career that is very, very quick. So it's great when you see that attitude. All he wants to do is box and and make a name for himself and do really well. So it's great.
Yeah, and probably a question you're bored of, Craig, but I think it needs to be asked. Like the Cash McGregor fight. We've heard McGregor say as well that if he wins the European, then he'd want the kind of rematch with Cash. Is that something that you want?
Oh, listen, definitely. I mean, we felt Cash won the fight, but just didn't get the decision, and the majority of people did. So it's just one of those. It's we've got over it. You move on. It's nothing against Lee. It was not his call. He won the belt quite rightly. So the judges decided he got it. It was their opinion. So, but I think boxing needs rivalries, and the boxers need money, and to make money they need rivalries. So Lee and Cash are the perfect mix, and it's not like it's a boring standoff fight. We know what's going to happen. The two of them are going to go head to head, and it's going to be another 12 rounds of non-stop action. So I think it's a great fight. Listen, I really hope Lee does win the European. It's a hard fight he's got against that veteran guy who's plenty of experience. So fingers crossed. I really hope Lee wins it. Whether he makes another defence or whatever, because obviously if you're going to have him and Cash fighting again, you want a crowd. That's what made the Emirates. That's what you don't know. We're on the wrong side of the decision, but it was an unbelievable fight. The atmosphere was incredible. That's the nights you live for in boxing. You go and do all these 6-round undercard fights and build your fighter up to hopefully get nights like that. So 100%.
I was lucky to be there. The atmosphere was phenomenal. I seen one of Lee's interviews saying that if the rematch did happen, he'd want it to be in Edinburgh. How would you feel about that? I think it'd be another great night for Scottish boxing and a great atmosphere.
Again, it makes no difference to me. I think it will sell it again as long as the money's right for Cash. I'm sure Leo will sort his side out as well. I think as long as the money's correct, and again the two boys deserve to make as much money as possible. It's their career defining fights. Those ones when you fight your kind of rivals, particularly domestic rivals. East versus West. It's a great unique fight, and I definitely think. Depending on how obviously the second one goes, a third one, you never know. Has it ever been done in Scottish boxing? It would, you want to make history. When you're boxing, you want to leave your mark on the sport. So I'm sure Lee's, keen on that as well. We obviously wants to get a European title, and I've no doubt he's got his eye on getting Cash in the ring again, because again he'll want to prove the doubters wrong from the last fight. He'll want to make money, and he'll want to push himself further up and make himself more popular. So I think that. For the two of them, they need to do it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps the fact that Cash has been signed with Matchroom now as well. It's only going to be a bigger fight. It would have been anyway because of how good the last fight was. But, NTK Global and Matchroom, it's going to get the right venue and the right money, hopefully, for the fighters as well. So fingers crossed that happens. So just wanted to touch as well, Craig, just lastly on Boris Crichton. You trained as well. What's the kind of current, what's happening with Boris just now?
Unfortunately, I think a lot of kind of club fighters, the guys are fighting in the non-television shows. He's kind of just ticking away. Boris a personal trainer anyway, and I'm sure if you've seen his Instagram, you can see he keeps himself in good condition. So he's got a new job just now. He's just concentrating. He's recently passed his driving test, so fingers crossed that the next time I see him, it's in a car and not jumping in buses and trains and whatever else. So he's still ticking away. I trained him a wee bit over the summer. But as I said, he started a new job, and I've said to him, listen, the priority is get some money in the bank, get yourself sorted. There's no fights happening just now. It makes no sense if he's, if he could be making money. So I've just left him to do his own thing, and hopefully once things start picking up, I'll see Boris again in there.
Great. And Craig, just finally, so Hannah Rankin's fighting Savannah Marshall on the same card. How do you see that fight going?
To be honest, I've seen Hannah fighting. I've not seen as much of Savannah, but I've heard she can punch a bit. The whispers in some of the boxing gyms. It's going to be a hard night. I think stepping up weight is a real tricky thing. There's weight categories for a reason. I hope she does well, but it may be a difficult night if she struggles to manage the weight. She would need to box on her toes, I think, and stay out of the way if she's to get through the fight. Yeah.
No, great. But listen, Craig, I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me. You can go and get your dessert now. What's for pudding?
I've no idea. Let's see.
Shortbread and a cup of tea.
This is the way it's been delivered. Look.
Brilliant. 3 trays. I don't know how to spot.
That's it's a sticky toffee. Sticky toffee
pudding? Looks like it. There you go.
I hate it. There's rice, right? Okay. I don't like onions, so let's see what's in door number 1. Chicken, something. That salad. Yeah.
Oh well.
See, at least it'll fill a gap for me for a bit.
Better than none. Go on Netflix.
Well, I've got that. That's what I'm doing, watching boxing Netflix.
Brilliant. No, listen, Craig, thanks for taking the time, and I'm sure I'll speak to you soon. Wish you all the best for Saturday night. I'll be speaking to your man, Cash, very shortly.